Hey guys, this is Andrew Blake from Blake's Hard Cider. Appreciate you spending some time with us. If you've never tried hard cider, you need to get out to a store. Go to blakeshardcider.com, click on the cider finder. It comes from a real place, from real trees, made with real apples, and love for you to experience all that the apple has to offer. You're watching Nick Drinks.
Nick Drinks. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Nick Drinks. I'm your host, Nick Britsky, and we are out here at Armada at Blake's Cider Mill to talk to president and founder, Andrew Blake. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this place is wonderful. It's great. You have two locations. So
Three locations.
Three locations.
Yeah.
I found two of them.
Yeah.
And what I want to talk about is just give me like the state of the industry in cider. Like
Sure.
what is happening right now?
Yeah, so really exciting stuff, especially from Michigan and Midwestern companies. Ciders for the past 10 years has been kind of on a rocket ship, growth trajectory. States like Michigan, Washington, New York have been really at the forefront of pushing those boundaries.
Where apples are grown?
Where apples are grown, right? And Michigan's the second largest apple producing state, has more cider mills per capita than any other state, and has an extremely strong and healthy hard cider industry. And us at Blake's, we're very fortunate to be kind of the innovators and leaders of that category.
So back kind of in George Washington, Johnny Appleseed days, cider was the thing. That was the drink.
It was so there wasn't, when they found the New World, there was no established vineyards or any other really way of kind of localized alcohol production. So cider and apples were kind of the predominant. That was the go-to drink, and that was the drink up until the early 1920s. It had a huge prominence in kind of drinking cultures, within society. Prohibition came, and with that, there was a huge kind of pushback against apples and orchards, and the whole prohibition movement. It's fascinating. You get into it, the whole orchards were cut down because of the devil's drink and all of that. So it was really, really interesting. And then in the United States, the cider tradition carried on, throughout the rest of the world. Europe has an extremely strong cider culture, Australia, even parts of Japan and Asia, Spain. But the U.S. market didn't really start taking off again until the 1990s. It took almost 60 years to kind of, rebalance itself from, kind of the Prohibition days.
So going back to Prohibition, breweries have recovered. I want to say it was last year, or the year before, to where they were before.
Yep.
Has cider got to that point yet?
So I think it has, but I think it has a lot more room to grow within kind of the zeitgeist of the American beverage culture. So I think people are still getting familiarized with the drink, understanding the nuance of it, understanding how to consume it, different ways in which you can consume it. And there's such an education piece with cider, which is why it's a really great opportunity for us to be the purveyors and stewards of the category. And that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, is being able to communicate to consumers all the different ways in which this beverage can be consumed.
So I noticed that so you have like a campus of all different locations or all different buildings. One of them selling CBD. Are you experimenting with that at all?
So we are. So this year, the Farm Bill this year fully recognized hemp as a legal agricultural commodity in the United States. It's been since prohibition of marijuana, it's been kind of on the back burner, got kind of lumped in as being, kind of an evil devil's lettuce type thing as well. But in the last, 10, 20 years, there's been real legitimate, science on some of the benefits for things such as epilepsy, a whole breadth of
glaucoma,
so
eye stuff.
Yeah, right. So there's a whole growing kind of book of real science supporting it. This year, we planted our first hemp crop. It's really fascinating, actually. So we planted about 5 acres on an offsite piece of property, and we're coming out with a full CBD and kind of self-care line.
Great. Well, that I think leads into the innovation that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So talk about some of the things you're doing. Obviously, right in here we have the low ABV, which I love. Talk about this.
Yeah. So this is our Lite Cider, just released. We'll be in grocers throughout the whole country. In our 18-state footprint.
Wow.
Yeah, 18 states. From Little Armada, Michigan. So that's pretty cool. Lite Cider, though, that was really born of our production team. These are beer guys. They're guys that are passionate about craft beer. As we're all getting a little bit older and, not our, don't have our college, drinking
Stamina.
faces. Yeah, stamina, exactly. They wanted something that was, a little bit more mindful, and that's one thing this whole program is based on mindful consumption.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you can't have a good time. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy, but this is made with 100 calories, 0 sugar, 4 carbs. So, it's a little bit easier on the body, on the midsection, all those things that you start worrying about as you get older, right? And this was something that they really wanted to do. They didn't want to follow the seltzer craze or anything like that. They wanted to make something authentic from our farm. This is a great example of a full execution from our entire team, from marketing to sales to production. So I'm really proud of this. This is the most collective, created product that we've ever made. So I feel really good about it.
I haven't had it yet.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh,
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. So
great berry nose.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So they're all real fruit. They're on the drier side, but one of the things when you're doing real fruit is you still get some of that body texture, mouthfeel. It doesn't feel watery. It doesn't feel like some of those other more health conscious drinks. And our new canning line that we got allowed us to do these skinny cans, which I think kind of just speak to the kind of the health, kind of mindful consumption.
It's almost like the Red Bull, which is the opposite of that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I see 4 carbohydrates, sugar, and that's all natural.
All natural.
Yep. And it's not dry. You do get some sweetness in there, but it's light. There's a great tartness to it. Are you growing the berries as well? Or are you close?
Okay. Yeah. So right
because I saw your strawberry picking.
Yeah. So right over here, you'll see our raspberries, strawberries, all of that. So on our farm, we grow about 800 acres. Apples are our main, agricultural product, but we do 50 acres of strawberries, 20 acres of raspberries. We do some blueberries. So we're a fruit farm, and so that gives us a great backdrop and an authentic way to be able to work on products and deliver them to the customer.
Great.
So yeah,
that's cool. So if you look at kind of the lower ABV trend, that is I think something that the U.S. really ran away from.
Yep.
Because if you look in Europe, a lot of the beers are lower.
They're much lower.
And their drunk driving laws are much stricter.
Right.
So do you see a trend that maybe we're kind of getting away some of those big IPAs, those, big barrel-aged beers?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a place for those. I think especially here in the States, and I think that you might see those more seasonally driven. Winter months, holidays, you kind of roll those out. I think what you're realizing is, life's so busy and, everyone's such a social creature at this point that I think, these seem a little bit more sustainable from just kind of a lifestyle perspective.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up barrel aging.
Yeah.
You have a barrel aging program that's been going for a little bit.
Yep.
Talk about kind of what you're doing and where you're going.
Yeah. So we've been doing barrel aged products, since we ever started. And one of the big things that we're tasking ourselves over the next year is to really develop that program out. So we have a couple products, El Chapo, so Sir Lushington, which was a Hopcat #1 product for like a year and a half. So we've actually really explored and been successful with a lot of these barrel-aged products. But as we move towards innovation and being the stewards of the category, we're trying to really develop a barrel program in which we really explore varietals and kind of the nuance and specialty of the individual apple varieties. One of the things that's really exciting for us as apple growers, we've been growing apples since the 40s. So really to start to explore the individual nuance of individual apples and seeing how you can blend and put them together with other apple varieties to create something really unique and special. I think that's really fun. That's something I geek out on. That's something we all kind of geek out on here. And I think the public will be really interested to see what becomes of that. And as we develop out new tasting rooms and more experiences on premise at our 3 locations for people to experience, I think it'll be a unique thing they can come to the farm and experience.
So from a social media standpoint, how do people find you?
So BlakesHardCider.com, Blake's Hard Cider on Instagram, Blake's Hard Cider on Facebook, Blake's Hard Cider on Twitter.
Great.
Yeah.
Andrew, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to learn more about Blake's, you can check them out online. You can find more about me at nickdrinks.com. You can see us on YouTube at youtube.com/nickdrinks, as well as nickdrinks.com, all spelled out on social media. Thanks so much. Until next time.
Thanks.